Hey everyone, I hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to bring you a video on a secret on how you can increase your credit score and get larger lines of credit. So if you're new to my channel is dedicated to showing you how to improve your credit score no matter where you are in your credit journey, and how to leverage lines of credit to make passive income. Now, I am not taking any consultations, and just let me put this disclaimer: I never been credit repair. So I'm actually, me and my husband is 7 months pregnant and I'm expecting soon. So I haven't done that in ages, since the beginning of this year, and I doubt if I'm going to continue or even pick up the consultations. So if you have anybody in the comment section using my photo telling you to email them if they want if you want a consultation or I can repair your credit, no, that is not me. Okay, that's a red flag. Make sure anything that I reply to you, it's highlighted with my name. A lot of people have been scammed with that. So you guys, click on the photo and make sure that the subscriber count match what's on the channel. Okay, do not get scammed, and understand I'm an advocate for credit education. Okay, please understand I give you tons of free content on how to increase your credit score, and you don't have to remove one negative item. I'm giving you the secrets, but one thing you're gonna have to do is educate yourself. Understand, credit is an algorithm. It is just a computer generated score. If you know how to what the factors are and know how to avoid certain pitfalls, it is all going to take your behavior. Nobody can fix your credit for you but you, because it's the algorithm on your behavior. Example, 35% of your credit score is how you pay your bills on time. Nobody can pay your bills for you but you. That's 35%. 30% is utilization. If you're maxing out your credit cards, nobody can do that but you. Those two categories are 65% of your score. So understanding those two factors and manipulating and learning how to guide the algorithm through your behavior, you can increase your credit score quickly. So listen to my video. If you don't understand something, replay it back, because I'm about to give you the secrets on how you can increase your credit score and get larger lines of credit. So one thing you have to know, when it comes down to the banks only trust other banks with lending. So when it comes down to getting larger lines of credit, remember, they do not trust you. They only trust the last bank that gave you an unsecured line of credit. So unsecured line of credit would be like credit cards or a line of credit. Sometimes if you have a personal line of credit, it's not a credit card, but it's a open line of credit with the bank that is extended to you, and it constantly revolves. Once you pay it down and pay it off, it renews with that larger $5,000 line, $2,000 line that you were given. That drives the credit system, because banks only make money off of interest. So unsecured lines of credit, which will fall under utilization, really dictates your credit worthiness. Remember, the credit game or the credit system is golden handcuffs. You have to learn how to leverage credit and use it to your advantage. And I talk about that. Most people put useless debt on their credit profile. What you need to learn is how to use that credit to generate income. So the key to get larger lines is to have a prior bank to give you a larger line of credit. So how do you do that? There's certain factors that banks are looking for. For you to have mature credit, they want to see that a bank or a lender extended you an unsecured line of credit, like a credit card, of at least minimum of $5,000. They understand it takes years for a person to build up to that $5,000 line of credit. Now, anytime that your credit score is under a 700 credit score and you add a unsecured line of credit like a credit card, you'll see your score jump on average for about 49 points. So how you can get larger lines of credit and increase your credit score is trying to deal with lending or institutions that's going to give you that's more apt to give you a larger line of credit, because they need to extend that credit to you in order to make money. So here are those types of companies and types of lines of credit that you need to look for. So I'm going to give you some tips. If you want larger lines of credit, one great source of people or companies that deal with you, even if you have a lower credit score or if you have a great credit score that'll give you a larger line of credit, furniture companies. So take for example that you want to go to Ashley Furniture or Rooms to Go, and you're getting furniture. Furniture now are no longer majority what it used to be installment loans. That is a fixed loan with a fixed monthly payment, like a car payment. Now a lot of these companies give you a line of credit, and because they are encouraging you to get and to spend more, because furniture could be quite expensive, they are more apt to give you a larger line of credit from the door. So some of them will approve you of a credit line of $3,000, $5,000, or $8,000. So when you get a line of credit like that and you go and apply, let's say for a bank card, a lot of times they will either match or exceed that line of credit. So if you got an $8,000, say, credit line from a furniture company, you go and apply after that reports on your credit report for a bank card. They, a lot of times, especially if you have a pretty good credit history, will give you that $8,000 or better line of credit. Okay, so actually I had a situation that happened with a Discover card of mine. Now, always remember, certain banks, you always want to look at their requirements. If you're a person that got that furniture account, but you know you have real trouble credit, you don't want to run yourself over to Chase or American Express and say, hey, I'm going to give me an American Express card. No, you might want to work with a bank that is more apt to go with your credit profile. Okay, so that is one way. Retail store cards. So take like Home Depot, Lowe's. A lot of these companies that if you're trying to get appliance or you're trying to get construction items, they are more apt to give you larger lines of credit because they need you to buy that product to keep them and purchase their inventory, keeping them in business. So these companies can offer you a larger line of credit, unsecured credit, because they are a retail store card, and they are dependent on their business thriving for customers to buy their products. So if you're getting an appliance, they're looking to extend you more credit because they need for people to buy these types of goods. And sometimes, depending on the bank that's backing them, they can be more generous even if you have a troubled credit score. So keep that in mind. That can give you an unsecured line of credit. A lot of these you can pre-qualify for. I have videos, tons of videos on how you can pre-qualify for these types of cards. Another way that you can get a larger line of credit that can increase your credit score and lead you to larger bank cards is using the shopping cart trick. Now, if you don't know what the shopping cart trick, it's the same thing. It's like retail stores, sometimes stores like Overstock, Wayfair, buying things of stores and getting lines of credit from Victoria's Secrets, stores like that, using the shopping cart trick, which is you putting $350 worth of merchandise in your cart and then go to checkout, and a lot of times you can get a pop-up where you're approved for a line of credit without you purchasing those items. It's a way that you can see if you're pre-approved. Now, if you do take that and pull the trigger, it will result into a hard inquiry. But a lot of these kinds of stores, by using the shopping cart trick, which majority of the time is going to be community bank, it is a easier requirement, and they can give you a larger line of credit, especially dictated on your current credit score and profile. So always keep in mind your profile is very important. So you can have a high credit score, but if you have negative things, that is certain things on your credit profile, depending on the lender, may get knocked down. So let's say American Express, if you have a collection, please don't take yourself over there. If you have a collection, I have seen people, some of my clients with a 725 credit score. Don't y'all be fooled. I told you, you can increase your credit without removing one negative item. Always remember that. So I had people with a 725 credit score in a collection. So you have to learn. Don't be fooled. If you go to American Express and say, hey, well, I got a 725 credit score, your butt will be denied because they're not accepting what you have in a collection on your credit report. But other lenders may do that. So keep that in mind. Using the shopping cart trick, a lot of these retailers will give you a larger line of credit, and you might have some trouble spots on your credit. Once you get that larger line of credit, find a lender that will deal with your credit profile. Many times they can give you equal or above that line of credit that you received. So always remember that. A lot of people, if you have small credit lines, $300 credit card, you go and apply somewhere else, they're just going to give you $300 to $400. So banks work like that. They only just trust you as far as the last bank trusts you. So keep that in mind. Another good option to get larger lines of credit and increase your credit score is going to credit unions. So certain credit unions are more lenient than banks many a times, because credit unions are based on relationship. So let's take Navy Fed, for instance, is known for giving out large credit lines. The great part about Navy Fed, they do not use the FICO 8 scoring model. They use a FICO 9. So if you're a person with a collection that resulted from medical bills, they do not consider that collection. Okay? Most other institutions will, because they use a FICO 8 scoring model. So you'll find that credit unions can be more lenient and more forgiving to give you a larger line of credit. which would help you get other larger lines of credit in the future. Another thing, you need to always limit your hard inquiries. So I always bring you guys videos on how to get pre-qualified. That means to see if you fit in that company credit profile before you pull the trigger. Anytime that you pull the trigger, it will result in a hard inquiry. But the reason why you want to pre-qualify, if you don't fit into that company's profile that they're looking for, they won't even tell you you qualify for it. Okay, now it doesn't mean that if you qualify, they're going to automatically give you that line of credit if you pull the trigger. But at least you're not shooting in the dark everywhere, just getting denied. If you don't fit in that pre-qual, you do not apply. Okay, so limit your hard inquiries, because hard inquiries, having over 6, can get you denied for credit altogether. Okay, always you want to remove charge-offs and collections, as many as possible, because that improves your chances of being approved. Now you can look and do your research for institutions that are more forgivable, like I mentioned with Navy Fed, with medical collections, and then you can play your credit profile to find banks and lenders that will accept you, okay, even with your negative items. Now, another tip, try not to apply from too many store cards. So I gave you tips to get store cards, but if you can look at your credit profile, do a little research. I have tons of videos on different lines of credit, store credit. You might want to get no more than 2. You want to aim for those companies that are known to give you large lines of store credit. Now, what you can do once you get that store credit, especially with community bank, like via shopping cart trick and stores, they are known, even if you have slightly troubled credit, to give you credit line increases. So you can go to a community bank, sometimes even Synchrony. They're more apt, if you have a consistent payment history, to manage your utilization, don't have late payments, and you can go and ask for credit card increases. You can always ask for a credit card increase, even if it's not a store card, with your current credit cards. But just make sure your history is in order before you, because certain lenders that you already have a credit card, if you ask for an increase, it will result in a hard inquiry pull. Some do and some don't. You need to call your bank in order to find out if they will do a hard pull. If you get that increase, you'll see your credit score increase. And if you apply for another card, because that line increase, you are more apt to get a larger line of credit than what is already there. Now, always remember, the key, or when you add unsecured lines of credit to increase your credit score, is only for those that have a 700 credit score and below. If you're a person with a credit score above 700, getting more lines of credit will decrease your credit score. So you want to be careful that it's worth it for you. Your techniques, if you're over 700, you want to pay down your credit cards as low as possible, and you can increase your credit score by doing that, or going for the route of asking your current credit card companies to increase your lines of credit. By increasing your lines of credit, you will decrease your utilization without paying it off, or you'll get more credit lines, and once, if it's worth it for you, you can apply for another line of credit and possibly get at least slightly above that credit line that you have. So if you have a $2,000 credit line, apply for a credit line increase, and you got over a 700 credit score, and it's not resulting in a hard pull, and they get it to $5,000, you'll see your score increase. Okay. Then if you go and apply for another line of credit, you will possibly get a $8,000 credit card. Okay. Because banks only believe other banks. Now, if you don't want to get that new line of credit, because it will decrease your credit score, because once you get over 700, it does affect your age of credit. This is why you adding new lines, if you have a 700 credit score and better, you might just only want to stick with applying for a credit card increase, because it will not affect the age of your credit. It'll increase your credit score, but won't mess with the age of credit, because that account is already have age to it, and you're not getting a new line. Anytime that you're over a 700 credit score and you get a new account, it decreases your overall age of credit. So just by adding unsecured lines of credit and constantly doing that, you can drop your credit score significantly, and you would have to garden, what we call credit garden, let that account sit and not apply for a while. But if you don't want that to happen, you just ask for a credit line increase of your current credit cards, and that can increase your credit score. Okay. But if it calls a hard inquiry, you may lose about 3 points. But sometimes the increase, depending on if you have higher utilization on other cards and you can get more credit, you can see it have a better effect by decreasing your utilization, even if you're over a 700, and see your score go up. So those are some tactics on how you can increase your credit score and get larger lines of credit. So if you have questions for me, you can leave your general questions in my comments section. But if you have private questions, I'm going to pin my web address. Go there, submit your questions. It go directly to my cell phone, and we will get back to you immediately. So I hope this is helpful, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.